Have you ever looked back at a relationship, a friendship, or even a choice you made and thought to yourself, the signs were always there. Why didn't I see them? At first, everything seemed fine, maybe even exciting. The person seemed perfect, their words comforting, their love or friendship intoxicating. And yet, months or years later, you find yourself in pain, asking, how did it come to this? The truth is, the most dangerous behaviors don't arrive with alarms or warnings. They arrive quietly, hidden in charm, disguised as love, cloaked in excuses. And because we long for connection, because we want to believe in the best of people, we ignore the red flags that whisper, something isn't right. Carl Jung once said that the shadow, the darkest parts of human nature, always reveals itself, but it rarely shows up all at once. Instead, it seeps through in small behaviors we dismiss, until one day the cost is too great to ignore. That's why today I want to share with you the 5 dangerous behaviors people ignore until it's too late. Because if you can recognize them early, you don't just protect yourself, you reclaim your power, your freedom, and your peace of mind. 1. Charm that feels too perfect. It always begins beautifully. They say exactly what you've always wanted to hear. They understand your jokes, finish your sentences, make you feel seen in ways no one else ever has. It feels magical, like destiny. But here's the danger. When someone seems too perfect, it often means you're not seeing them at all. You're seeing a mask. Carl Jung warned that people wear personas, false images designed to gain approval or control. And when a person uses charm like a weapon, they're not showing you who they are. They're showing you who they want you to believe they are. At first, it feels flattering, but slowly you begin to notice. Their words and their actions don't quite match. You ignore it because you want the dream to be real. But one day, you wake up realizing that the person you fell for never really existed. Lesson. Charm isn't the same as character. If someone seems too perfect to be true, it's often because they are. 2. Disrespect for boundaries. At first, it seems harmless. They tease you with a joke that cuts too deep. They insist on reading your messages, going through your phone, showing up uninvited. They tell you you're too sensitive when you protest, and you let it slide because it feels easier to keep the peace than to confront it. But every time you excuse a boundary being crossed, you send a silent message. This is acceptable. Carl Jung said that people reveal their shadow in the way they treat limits. When someone repeatedly ignores your no, it isn't love. It's control disguised as closeness. The Stoics also warned about this. They taught that true freedom is lost not in one dramatic moment, but in small, daily compromises. You don't notice it at first, but step by step, your space, your voice, your dignity, all begin to shrink. Lesson. Pay attention the first time someone crosses your boundary. If they dismiss your no once, they will dismiss it again until you no longer recognize yourself. 3. Isolation disguised as love. It begins sweetly. I just want you all to myself. We don't need anyone else, just us. At first it sounds romantic, even flattering, but slowly the circle around you begins to shrink. You see friends less often. Family becomes distant. Hobbies and passions fade into the background, and by the time you realize, you are standing alone, except for the one person who insists they're the only one who truly cares. Carl Jung warned that the psyche withers when it loses its connection to the wider world. Isolation is not love. It is control. Because when you are cut off from your support system, it becomes easier for someone else to rewrite your reality. Real love never cages you. It doesn't demand you to abandon the world. Instead, it expands your world, encouraging you to grow, to connect, to thrive. Lesson. If being with someone makes your world smaller instead of bigger, that's not love. That's the beginning of control. Before we continue, please take a moment to like this video. Your support helps more people discover these ideas. And if you're enjoying this journey into the mysteries of the mind, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Now, back to the video. 4. Emotional manipulation. It doesn't start with shouting. It starts with silence. The cold shoulder when you don't do what they want. The guilt trip that leaves you questioning if you're the problem. The subtle rewriting of events until you wonder if your own memory can be trusted. This is emotional manipulation. It's not about love. It's about control. Carl Jung described this as the destruction of your logos, your ability to trust truth and reason. When someone bends your reality, they bend your choices. They weaken your confidence until their voice becomes louder than your own. Philosophers warned of this too. The Stoics said, "The greatest freedom we have is the freedom to judge things as they are. Lose that, and you lose everything. And that's the danger. You become trapped in an invisible cage, one built not of walls, but of self-doubt." Lesson: if you find yourself apologizing just to keep peace, if you doubt your own reality more than you trust it, that is not love. That is control dressed in tenderness. 5. Repeated promises without change. This one is the most dangerous because it feels like hope. They cry, they swear, they beg, "I'll change. Just give me one more chance." And because you love them, or because you believe in their potential, you forgive, again and again. But the weeks pass, the months pass, and nothing changes. The cycle repeats: apology, promise, disappointment, until you realize you are clinging not to a person, but to an illusion. Carl Jung wrote, "You are what you do, not what you say you'll do." Words without action are empty, and the more you accept broken promises, the more you betray yourself. Philosophy teaches the same. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that truth is always in action, not intention. 1,000 promises mean nothing next to a single choice. Lesson: don't let hope blind you. Promises don't build trust. Actions do. The saddest truth is this: we often see these signs early, but we silence ourselves because we want to believe in love, in loyalty, in change. These behaviors are not fate. They are warnings. If you recognize them in others, step back. If you recognize them in yourself, confront them, because the cost of ignoring them is always greater than the pain of facing them. Remember, the shadow doesn't disappear when you look away. It disappears when you shine a light on it. If these 5 signs felt uncomfortably familiar, maybe it's because part of you has already seen them, in someone else, or even in yourself. The first step to freedom is awareness. The second step is courage. So share this video with someone who might need this reminder today. And if you want more insights from philosophy and the hidden patterns of the human soul, subscribe. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.